Hi, welcome to ReneMarie's Stroke of Luck. I'm ReneMarie, and we really have a wonderful show today. And there's a backstory to this show because it was supposed to run and air on August 20th when I was going to be out and have my knee surgery. Of course, I had my knee surgery, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. But God has a mission in his life, and he really wanted myself and Ann to connect. And of course, Judy is in the mix here. Judy was the reason that Ann and I actually had the opportunity to connect. So, but when Ann and Judy were on their way to the studio lost power. And they were not able to run the show that day. So fast forward, here we are today in a rescheduled show. So God always has a plan. Even though sometimes we don't understand it, but it was really important for all of us to connect because I think we're on the spiritual wave level, Judy and myself and Ann. And Judy is a catalyst to so many things in life that just we're gifted to have her and know her. So today is a very interesting show and one that really touches my heart a little bit more than it did prior to my knee surgery. I guess God was trying to have me learn to be aware, I should say, because when I had my stroke, of course, I had caretakers around me day and night, and you know, my family and my friends, and up until this point, I've had a bunch of caretakers taking care of me and people that still look out for me. But when I had my knee surgery, I couldn't walk, so I couldn't even take my dog out, and you know, so the whole journey of having my knee surgery was really, what's the word I'm looking for? An opening act for this show, because this showed me how you need caretakers in your life, especially when you're not expecting it, and you're never expecting a stroke and to suffer from aphasia. So we all need caretakers, and we never know when we're going to need those caretakers. And Ann, oh my gosh, I forgot how do you
Go for it.
I'm horrible.
Agueli.
Agueli. I'm so sorry. It's one of the stroke thing. It's like,
no, everybody does it.
Ann
It's cool.
Agueli. Ann Agueli. Anyway, Ann, who's our guest today, has published 3 books, and her third one is as phenomenal as her first and second, which we're going to get into in a little bit, as far as them and their books and how she got into writing books and her God messages and her God work that she does. So it's going to be a really, really very, very interesting and very enlightening show. And I'm sure that this is not the beginning. This is only the beginning for our journey together with Ann and Judy and myself and my foundation and everything, because she really is a wonderful spirit, and we're gifted to have connected with her. So that being said, we're going to open up the floor. Can you bring Judy into the loop? Hello.
Hi.
Oh, Ann's in as well. Everyone say hi.
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 So it's awesome to be here with you. Judy, of course, I don't even have to mention how you are a gift to our universe.
Thank you so much.
And Ann, don't you think it was really?
Thank you so much for having me here. It's really a privilege, and thank you to Judy for connecting us. I love the way the whole thing came about, where you said to Judy one day, "Let's do a show on caregivers," and she goes home and there's a newspaper, and there I am on the cover with my book, and you know, and the connection. And I also love how it did not happen when it was supposed to happen.
I know.
When we thought it was supposed to
I know.
happen, and it actually happened now. And this is definitely a divine connection. So thank you for having me.
It
here.
is. It's a divine
Yeah,
connection.
I love it.
Judy, tell our viewers the story of when we were sitting here on that show, and
We
you
were
and
sitting
Nancy.
here, and we were
Out of the blue,
we were sitting here. That was Nancy and myself, and as well as you.
and we
And
were
you
supposed to,
mentioned-
we were supposed to have guests on that day, and they couldn't come or
Right.
for something like that.
So we're sitting there, and Renee mentions that out of the blue, near the end of the show, that, you know, Judy, it would be a great idea if you would do a, you know, get together with Nancy and do a show on caregiving. And a good date for it would be August 20th when I'm recovering from knee surgery. And I go home, And I'm thinking about this on the trip home, and I go home and I decide I want to open my mail. I open my mail and I start reading the newspaper, the Smithtown Messenger, and I see a story by Maureen Rossi
Right.
about caregivers
Wow.
and about Anne and her wonderful books, and I got all excited, but it was Saturday and I couldn't call Maureen Rossi until Monday.
Oh my gosh.
And the first chance I got, I definitely called her, and she said she would give me the number, and we connected, and it's been great.
And you know what's funny too? I'm just recalling now, that article was supposed to happen weeks before, but for whatever reason, it didn't happen for Maureen. She wasn't able
Wow.
to, you
Wow.
know, to get to it. So I'm just now seeing,
Wow, the
you know,
connection.
I'm seeing God's hand, you know,
Oh.
working His miracles here.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
So Judy and Nancy, you know, got the call on that day that they
On the air.
on the
Really.
so, but we all love divine interventions. Am I
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
So it's good. So, Anne, take us back a little bit. Like, give us a little bio of who you are and what you were doing before your life decided
Sure.
to take God decided
Sure.
to take you on this journey, because you are on
Exactly.
a journey. You're making your way.
Well, I was working for a law firm, and I was working very hard, and I just recognized that I wasn't being of service. And I had this calling that just would not leave me alone.
I know.
I needed to be of service, and I needed to write. And I left the law firm without having any plan. I just left, and I'll never forget, my office manager said to me, "I'm glad, go out and do something better than this with your life." And I developed this saying that when you walk the tightrope without a net, you better make sure you're going to get to the other side.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what began to happen. So my plan was to go back to school. I wanted to get a degree in the helping field, like maybe mental health or licensed clinical social worker, something like that. And I was going to pursue creative writing on the side. And that's exactly what did not happen.
Because God had other plans.
God had other plans. My parents had moved in a decade before to come help me because I divorced. And now it was my turn to help them. And their needs were so all-encompassing. I became their social worker. I became their social director. I became their attorney.
Yeah.
I just became all things
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah.
And I recognized, for me personally anyhow, that there was something missing from the caregiving role. There were plenty of places where I could go and get like a directory to find an aide or to find an elder care attorney or a social worker, but the spiritual part of it, the holistic part of it, was missing for me. And there
Right.
were times I'd be up in the middle of the night and just like, God, I wish I had somebody to talk to. I wish I could just get this out, you know, and I had all these feelings and emotions that I personally thought, you're not allowed to have those. You're a
Right.
caregiver. You're a
Right.
martyr.
Right.
You're supposed to be giving and loving and kind.
And what was your mom and dad's conditions?
Mom and Dad, Mom had a host of events going on with her. She had a cyst on her brain that would cause seizures. She had congestive heart failure. She was a 30-year breast cancer survivor, God
Wow.
bless her.
Wow.
She had had a hysterectomy. She had high blood pressure. She had all sorts of things going on. And toward the end of her life, she had macular degeneration. So she had a lot going on. Dad just lost the ability to walk, and he began to fall a lot, and he needed a lot of care, and eventually he was just in bed and not able to feed himself, not able to toilet himself. Yeah, that was probably about the last year of his life. Yeah, and they were living in my home with me. So, yeah, I did recognize that there was something definitely missing for me, that I was stressed out, I was depleted, I wasn't feeling well, and here I am trying to help them care for each other and help take care of them as well. And I knew that I wanted to write, and I knew that I wanted to help people. Those two
Right.
components
Right.
were not even an option for me.
Right.
That was my calling in life.
Wow.
And I just, when I felt that I got that calling, I just said to God, pick somebody else. Not
You know,
me.
It's funny because
Not me.
there was this. I know I'm on a journey, and I know everything happens in our life for a reason. So I, began working at my job, and this gentleman happened to move into the community. God must have placed him there, and he gave me. He would give tests to big corporations, to people in big corporations, to see what their purpose was, where they should be going, what they should be doing with their lives. Because a lot of people don't know what their purpose is. They don't want to do what they're doing, but they don't know where they're going or what they
Right.
want to do. Like, at least you knew, like, you had those two factors. I want to help people and I want to write. I mean, you had those two things, but other people have no idea. So he provided this test for me. It was very odd questions. And when I got the answers back, he said to me, he goes, I've never had anybody be so focused and so, like, sure about what they do. And it showed in the test results. I had 80 and 85% on one of the test results was for God and helping people.
Okay.
God and mission work and stuff like that. The other one was mission work and God, and they were both 80.
What an
and-
alignment!
and
Oh, that's
they were
amazing.
both that way. So you understand that because you knew you had a focus. You knew what you and it takes a lot of. Let me tell you something, because on my last job when I worked for Pumptonian Food Service, which is a phenomenal food service, like God didn't want me there anymore. He didn't want me there anymore.
Right.
When I tell you, Ann, we used to get laid off all summer. I was off on Thanksgiving, off on Christmas. I had a wintertime break and a
Wow.
summertime break. I made good money, and God didn't want me there no more.
Wow.
Right? So he kept doing things to me. Water came down in my office, hot water, when I wasn't in there.
Talk about a sign.
Signs.
Pour a little water on
I
it.
blacked out at work.
Oh my goodness.
Was in the hospital for 3 days. Nothing was wrong with me.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so I knew they were all signs. So one day I just went to them and said, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
So I get it.
Yeah. So there's the alignment.
I get it.
But the thing for me was like, okay, the story in my head was like, okay, what are you going to do with writing? Like, what are you going to do with that? That a quarter will get you on the bus, not even, and I had that story in my head, and I really had to go through my transformational exercises and all the things that I was going through personally, in conjunction with creating this business and creating this, this pathway. And, and that's why I created my blog, and that eventually the book came out. And the book is about...
We're going to talk about this
In
book,
a
but
little
is this your first book or is this your third? This is your...
No, the first.
This is the first one that
This
got
is-
published, but not the first one that got written.
Oh, I didn't
Okay.
know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
You wrote the second one first?
I had won a publishing package for When God Nods.
Wow.
And in the process of writing it, I was doing this as well. I was doing my caregiver's blog and writing
Okay,
for
so
that.
let's take it one,
Okay.
because you have so much,
got a lot.
so much. No, I know,
lot of
because
energy.
I get it. I get it. We get it. We get it. So let's talk about your blog. Your blog was the first outlet
yes.
that you had.
Oh,
like
yeah.
mine is singing.
Okay.
So yours is
Is
to
inspire
write
caregivers.
inspire
Inspire
caregivers
caregivers.
through a blog.
Yes.
What was it like? Where could they find it? I mean,
If they go just www.inspirecaregivers.com, and I began writing articles about things that caregivers don't always feel free to talk about, like sibling rivalry, things about personal development, spiritual formation, how to incorporate all of that into the caregiving process, how to look at things from a different angle and a different lens in order to heal yourself, heal the person that you're working with, whether it's somebody in the medical community or a sibling, and how to transform relationships as you're going through your caregiving journey.
so we understand that because that's one of our big passions in life. When someone, we work on the stroke and aphasia world, when someone suffers from one of those things, that they can just recover in peace and with love around them. But when you have to do what you're saying, you got to call the attorney, you have to call the social worker, you have to call the care, you have to make all these phone calls. It's crazy. So your blog was a good resource for them. Did you ever get any responses to your blog?
Yes, I did. I got lovely comments. I actually, when I published the book, I had somebody write an amazing testimonial on Amazon, and we actually started speaking, and this person I've never met before, it's a complete stranger, and the alignment, once again, is completely there. And he was over the moon, and people telling me that the book has helped them tremendously.
Oh, that's
tremendously.
such a reward.
It is.
That's such a reward.
It blew me away. It blew me away.
What was some of the things he said? Do you remember off the top of your head?
Some of the things that he said were that, I talk about things that most of the time don't get spoken about. I talk about fear in anger and guilt, and how to transform those things into more powerful solutions, creative solutions to problems. He told me that it made a difference to him, and it made a difference to the person that he was caring for. Yeah. So that was more than I could have ever expected from a complete stranger.
Yeah.
Just blew me away. Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes we don't know who we're touching. We just that's what I love. About. I'll give a prime example. The other day, it was September 21st, and it's the United Nations Day of Peace around the world. We're supposed to honor peace on that day. So I had a really busy day. I couldn't do it before work. I couldn't do it, during work. After work, I had to go for physical therapy, and then I was on a radio program that night. So when I came home at 11:30, I had made God the promise that I was going to put it out.
Still had a half hour of that day.
I know.
There you go.
I know. I was going to make him the promise. It didn't get out till 12:04, but it didn't matter, because maybe that's the time that somebody I was supposed to go
Exactly.
out, and somebody was supposed to reach out to it.
Yes.
So your blog was the first thing. We're going to take a quick break, because I know we have to take a quick break. And when we come back, what's your second book? What's the next phase to? What was the next step in
the caregiving journey or publishing?
in the publishing journey?
In the publishing journey, When God Nods is coming out probably in about 10 days.
It's coming out, yes.
Yeah.
But was that your first book? No, this was your first book.
This is my first published book.
So we're going to talk about this first. We're
Okay.
going to go in order.
Got it.
Okay? So when we come back, we're going to talk about, Vicki, could you put that up on the screen, and then we'll put it up on the screen when we come back as well, the book, the photo of the book? Nope, the other one. That one. Right back.
Welcome to
Hi, welcome back to ReneMarie Stroke of Luck. We have a wonderful friend, we can call her now, and God, divine intervention, connection in life, Anne, who really has begun a journey and never looked back. She's really a remarkable story. We're talking about her book, Joyful Journalizing.
Journaling.
Journaling, sorry, I couldn't read it. For the caregiver's spirit. So, and we spoke before how, you never know when you're going to need a caregiver. And it really, it's very touching that people, they get pushed into it without choice. I mean, those of us that choose that path, we have a compassion for, people. We've learned that, you need to give to receive. But people in the universe, they got lives, and all of a sudden they're thrown into this caregiving situation.
They don't understand it.
They don't understand it. And that's where you were when
Absolutely.
your parents...
I had plans, God had other plans for
Yes.
me. Yes, absolutely.
So your parents moved in, and then you started, you left your position?
No, I had worked there for many years. And then as their care needs became greater, I recognized that, this is going to be it for a while. This is going to be, let me take this chunk of time and just get them settled and get them everything that they need. And in that time frame, I just recognized, like I said before, what was missing. There were plenty of directories and resources for, things that you needed, the real life aspects of caregiving. But the whole person, I wasn't feeling whole and complete. And that, for me, was
Because
missing.
you're so busy doing so many things.
Yeah, and that's another thing I wanted to address, too. I would make the excuse, I don't have time.
Right.
Time is a man-made concept.
I was just, yeah.
Create the time. And if you're up in the middle of the night, what happened for me was that I started journaling. And I recognized that when I would journal and I would get that out of my body, it was like detoxing. and then I could look at it later and say, oh my goodness,
Right,
this is just words on
right,
paper.
Right.
This is just a script, and I can absolutely, positively recreate this on paper.
Right.
And that's what I found healing to me. So to me, journaling became a healing modality.
Right.
And I would, my intention is to teach other caregivers that this is available to them. It's not that difficult. It doesn't take a lot of time.
Right.
It
But
could be
you
one word.
so I'm assuming, because I just looked through the book briefly, that because I know, like, I'm doing a sponsor letter right now for my foundation, and there's questions that are asked of me, and it makes it easier to. I don't have to think about what needs to be written out. It just asks a question, then I answer it, and I'm fulfilling what I need to do. So in this book, are there questions that you get their brain thinking about?
There are actual exercises in the book.
Right.
It's not just something you read and say, okay, that was really cool to read. You put it on the nightstand and you go back to being the same way you were being before. That's not the point of the book. The point of the book is to detox yourself and to get these thoughts and these negative emotions out of your body and to transcend them. And not only does it benefit you as a caregiver, it benefits the person that you're taking care of.
Right.
It benefits your relationships with
Right.
the medical community, with the legal community, with the
Right.
social community, with your siblings, with your family. It recreates and transcends these emotions so that you can be the best caregiver you can, because you're being good to yourself and you're coming into
Right.
it as whole and complete.
Right. Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And also, Anne, you got accolades for this book, and you were written up in a national magazine.
My book actually won an award.
Wow.
Today's Caregiver magazine, which is a very respected trade publication. It's got a celebrity on every cover. They've been in circulation for 21 years.
Wow.
Awarded me the 2016 Fearless Caregiver Award for Innovative
Yay.
Work.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yay,
Thank
that's
you.
awesome.
And it'll be in there, I think, in their October issue. So you're coming soon.
Oh,
so.
that's gonna
Yeah.
help it.
It's very cool.
Take
Yeah.
off and
It
and really do what really help you on the platform.
Yes.
You know,
it's
and
opened
then-
many doors.
Yes.
And you called your book A Spiritual Gift.
Yes, yes. When I was 13 years old, I discovered that I had a gift for writing. And somebody told me that that was going to get me nowhere in life, and I put it away. I totally disregarded it, and I did not.
At that statement,
Address
it's
it.
just beautiful.
Oh, thank you. But later on in life, I couldn't understand, why am I getting divorced? Why are my parents coming in here? Why? And now retrospect is such an amazing tool. Now I see that my trials as a caregiver have now become my testimony. And
Right.
that's the beauty. Therein lies the beauty. That's how God works in your life.
Right,
I could
right.
cry because,
Yeah.
I didn't understand, why is my life so difficult? Why don't I have a spouse to help support me so that I can take care of my parents? Why is all of this happening to me? And if I did have somebody to lean on, I probably would not have created
You wouldn't have
my
channeled it
book.
in this way.
I wouldn't have created Inspire Caregivers.
Right.
I wouldn't be talking to churches right now saying, listen, let's do a caregiver support group based on my book, based on journaling and the techniques in the book. Let's
Right.
help caregivers to help themselves.
Right.
So now,
And when
in
I went
retrospect,
through it,
I
I
get
could
it.
have used something like that.
Oh, wow.
When you were caregiving
When you
for
were
your
I was
dad.
caregiving for my dad.
Yeah, and too, it's if we at our age in this baby boomer situation are not caring for somebody, we also have to be mindful of very sobering thought is that we have children, and they may be doing this one day for us. So why not address this? This is huge. It's expanding. It's
what
everywhere.
happens to a couple as they grow older and their children are, let's say, across the country somewhere, and this happens?
Yes, I had
What
one.
do they do then?
I had one woman contact me. She's got MS, and her husband is her caregiver, and she had such beautiful things to say about the book, and they do the book together.
And my point is, what if the one or two children are far away, or even internationally away, and something like this happens? Do you give advice for?
Well,
someone
it's
like that?
a caregiver is a caregiver. It doesn't necessarily have to be a family caregiver, a home health aide, a nurse, a social worker, anybody. You come into this, and there are feelings and emotions that you have to address. You come
course.
into this, whether professionally or personally,
Right.
and there's a lot there. There's a lot to deal with, and a lot of it
That's
gets
for
swept under the
sure.
rug by other people, by ourselves. We're busy. We don't have time, and this is just a great way to detox your body. I don't know if you're familiar. There was I don't remember the doctor's name, so forgive me. I would have to look it up. It was an experiment done with water where they spoke to the water with positive words.
I
and
did
they-
see that.
And
I
then there were
did see
negative
that.
words, and the negative words looked like cancer cells, and the
Yes.
positive words
Yes.
looked like,
Yes.
beautiful snowflakes.
I absolutely believe
So the
that.
energy of emotions, it's okay to feel, and I want caregivers to know too, it's okay to feel what you feel.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you get angry at the situation, you get angry at the person. Like, why
Yeah.
did you smoke for 30 years? Like,
Yeah.
and you have anger, but what can we do with that anger?
Yeah.
Let's take that anger, and instead of focusing on the problem, let's focus
On
on
the
the
never
result,
felt-
the solution.
I never felt angry with my dad about his condition. I always felt understanding about it, but my frustration was with other people and how they didn't understand what was happening.
But you have to, I think you have to look at, everybody's got their own struggles, their own lives, their own difficulties. And I know that we need to look at them with love, just in the Eat, Pray, Love. When Julia Roberts was it Julia Roberts
Yes.
in that movie?
Mhm.
Julia Roberts was, with that gentleman, up on the thing, and she said, just send them love. Just send them love.
Right.
Just send them love. Because love is the answer. We're actually starting a campaign for my foundation through the sponsor letter that I'm beginning to learn how to write, and it's feel the love. Feel the love.
And we all
Feel the
the
love. Feel the love. You gotta feel the love. You have to, because love is in our world, love is the key to recovery.
Yeah.
Because if you have love around you, nothing else matters.
Right.
When you're ill, I guess one of the God messages that He tells me to share with people is, don't wait until you're sick or you need somebody, or to be kind and to love and
Yeah.
to feel the love and to spread the love and be compassionate
Right.
all the time.
Right.
All the time, because you never know
Absolutely.
when that situation
I have a
is
practice that I use personally, and it's part of, I belong to a results group, and it was one of the promises that I had made last week. It's whenever I find myself angry this week, on 3 occasions, I will go into gratitude. I will find something to be
Yes.
grateful for.
Yeah.
And having that practice in my life and writing it down on paper makes it come to fruition in life. It makes it, real, in real life, time and space.
Yeah.
And there's so much to be grateful for.
Yeah.
And caregiving can be an extremely isolating job.
Yes.
But if you
Yes.
have a network of friends and you're involved in a lot of social groups, you get compassion from these people, and your friends become, in some cases, even more helpful than your family.
Your family, yes, yes.
So we're going to have to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about her next 2 books that were 2 more books were published. Am I correct?
They're coming out, yes.
Yes. Yeah. They're both coming out at the same time. That's exciting. I was actually privileged to connect with Ann and for her to ask me to interview me for one of the segments in her new book, When God Knocks,
Nods.
Nods, and to write a testimonial, which I'm going to do tomorrow. But what I want to delve into a little bit, just a little bit when we come back, is, as on a journey as everybody sees us to be, we have our own struggles that we have to, you don't have to tell me personally what they are, but let's talk about how we have to balance it and how we have to, because that's really important, because when you're a caretaker, you have other things going on in your life. So it's really important for us to realize that we have to balance and we have to really take care of the whole picture and the whole being of who we are to be able to go through it. And you said that, but there are, I had to peel away those layers of the onions to be who I am today.
Right.
And, to be, to try to forge ahead and do what my God calling is. So when we come back, we're going to continue the conversation. We'll be right back.
Galaxy Luxury.
Hi, welcome back to ReneMarie Stroke of Luck. This is really an important show, and we're really happy and really honored to have this platform, to bring awareness around the world and to in our local areas, and to be able to, view it all the time, because sometimes when we talk, you only pick up some of the information, but with the gift with this platform is, you can watch it on YouTube and you can scroll back and forth, and it really is a wonderful platform to help people. So during the break, we were talking about that because we want to make sure that we're getting out to you to help you, you know. And one of the biggest things that we want to share is that this book is a workbook that really is. Could you put it up on the screen one more time, Vicki? You leave that up on the screen. That's your website, am I correct?
Yes, that's my website.
That's your website.
Yeah.
Tell us how we go to your website.
It's www.inspirecaregivers.com.
Okay. And then put her book up one more time, because it's really important if you're a caregiver or even if you're not a caregiver, you know, one day you may be called to be a caregiver, so why wait until you have to be a caregiver to be frazzled and to, you know, to learn, to read the book. So honestly, I recommend that you go and buy it. Keep it by your bedside. You don't have to read it all at once. You can read it in slabs. I always keep things in my car because when you go places and you're early and you have nothing to do, or you can download it. Is it?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. So you could download it, not download it. You could, you know, keep it in your car and then whip it out for 2 seconds before you go in. So it really is important. Education is knowledge. Mark McEwen had said that on an interview I did with him. Knowledge is power. That's what he said. Knowledge is power. So let's empower ourselves to educate ourselves. It really is important.
Yes.
Really important. Okay, so your next book.
Tell us about your second book, When God Nods, Tales of Divine Serendipity. And how it came about.
When God Nods, Inspirational Tales of Divine Serendipity. At the same time I became a caregiver, I was searching. I was searching for that elusive something more. And I had found a church that I was very happy with, and I honestly just gave my life over to God. Everything that I was doing wasn't working. So God pretty much rolled up his sleeves and he sweated with me. Boy, let me tell you, he really had to work with me. I had a lot of old stories in my head that were not working. And I began the journey of transformation. I bumped into a seminar that was all about personal transformation.
Which we spoke about before.
We spoke about earlier.
I'm going to go with you on that.
Yes, I would love for you to be my guest. You will definitely get a lot out of it. And I began to understand that the stories that I had in my subconscious mind were the ones that were leading the show and pulling me around by the nose, you know, quite frankly. And as I began to break down those stories and do the work of personal transformation, and it is work. Nobody's going to do this for you. You have to roll up your sleeves. You have to partner with God and say, okay, God, you lead and I will follow. And sometimes you go kicking and screaming, and sometimes God has to break you in order to remake you.
Yes, he does.
Okay, and obviously from experience you know that. And this was my journey. So as I was going along on this journey and I opened myself up to the question of spirituality, God started to show me the way. He started speaking to me, and I didn't listen a lot of the times.
I didn't
but
listen
he
either.
Continued.
He had to literally hit me on the head.
Bang us over the head. Bang
Literally.
us over the head.
I'm sorry to bother you, but the first time he was trying to get my attention, he literally hit me in the head with the bat.
Oh my goodness, yes, I have. You are in my book. Yes,
He literally hit me in the head with a bat.
Yes.
So it's like, you're not listening. Bam! There you go. That'll learn. Go ahead, sorry.
So as I was going throughout this journey, there were signs and serendipities and coincidences that could not have come from anywhere else other than God. You cannot make the things that happened to me in my life. You cannot make this up. And I thought this was just me. I thought I was crazy, you know. And then I began meeting people such as Renee. God was aligning me with the right people, and I started interviewing these people.
Definitely.
And now these people, their inspirational tales of when they were in the darkest, most horrific times of their life, and they gave it all up. And I don't mean gave up and threw themselves on the floor and quit. I mean gave it up to God. He showed up in the most miraculous of ways, and their tales are in my book, as long as my story intertwined as it unfolds. And it really does show how God will come and he will meet you as long as you're open to receive him.
I was always odd. I always felt odd. Not odd. That's the wrong terminology. I always felt different. I always felt different than everybody. And that doesn't mean I'm better than anybody, but I just knew there was a God, and I just knew. I didn't know how connected I was back a long time ago. I'm working on my documentary, my movie for my life. And one of the moments in my life when I remember that God said to me, remember this, it's going to be really important, was when I was laying on a couch in my father's basement when I was young. I was a teen. I was very young. I forget how old I was. But I remember crying and crying and crying and crying, and I just remember God was there. He was holding me. I just remember that, and I remember him telling me, remember this moment, because it's going to be really important. So as many, and I've had a lot of difficult things in my life, a lot of difficult things, but me being the person I am, I never looked at it like a dark moment. I always looked at it like I was out of it. It was just happening to me.
Wow.
And I knew that God would bring me through it. I
powerful.
had this unconditional faith. So when people look at me and go, how you getting? I'm like, I'm okay. But I never knew, like, people were looking at me. I was really going through tough times.
Right.
She's the most positive person you could ever.
But it's just the mindset. It's just, I mean, and it, you know, thank you, Judy. But it's not something that, it's just how I am. It's just what I've learned to become. It's just how I get through things, you know. And another thing that people always told me was, you know, you're too God-oriented.
Oh.
You know, you're
I don't think
you're
you can be too God-oriented.
Interesting.
Yeah, you're too, like, you know, you're too passionate in that. But I think to myself, well, we all have something we grab onto to help us through things.
Absolutely.
And sometimes people choose other things to get through.
Yes, they do.
And what's the woman from 2020?
With
Yes.
Barbara Walters from
Barbara
years
Walters.
ago,
No.
or
She was just on 2020. She has an alcohol. She just realized that alcohol was what she
was her thing.
was her thing.
Her go-to thing.
Right, and
Yeah.
we all have something. Yes, I know I'm too God-oriented. I mean, it's how I get through things.
There's no
you
such
know?
thing as being too God-oriented. You are doing what works for you.
Well,
period.
yes, but
know?
that's what I'm saying. So, you know, whether it's you thrive on music, which I thrive on, or you're thriving on, you know, you're delving in sports, or
Right.
you're whatever
You see, now that was key for me throughout this journey, writing the book, When God Nods. I needed to learn, and I'm not ashamed to admit this, to put God first.
Yes.
And that was there, and then it wasn't there. But there have been times in my life, I mean, just unbelievably dark times in my life, and grinding my teeth or kneeling on the floor, grabbing onto the rug, saying, I choose faith, I choose faith. I don't understand, but I choose faith. And then the next thing you know, there it was.
Yeah,
Because I chose it, and I
it's
believed
incredible.
it.
It's
you know?
incredible.
And I'm not going to lie, I've questioned God, I've gotten mad at him. What's up with this now? Like, what are you doing? You know, and it all works out fine. It all leads you to the same place. It's
Yeah.
all wonderful and good and perfect
Yeah.
in its imperfection.
Oh my gosh. Vicki, I'm just gonna let you know that we're not. I don't think I'm gonna end with music today because this is too important. The conversation we're having, I want to make sure that we have enough time. We only have about 12 minutes left, so I want to make sure that we're flowing. I'll just sing a cappella. So that we could, because this is too important. I don't want to, because I'd have to cut us short now. So, okay. So I'll just sing a cappella. We'll flow out, blow kisses. We'll be good.
Beautiful.
And maybe I'll sing a little bit of
The song
song I was going to sing when I was young. Anyway, so it really is important. So I forgot where we were talking about before
We were talking about our connection to God, and I also
Oh,
want to just
yes.
point out that for me personally, did you ever see like a family of 12? And
Yes.
it's that one person
Yes.
that becomes a caregiver.
Yes.
And it's not a question. They just step right in. I honestly believe that God has created them, and he knows the value of their heart, and he knows the courage and the valor that they have. And so you can't be a caregiver and not have that strength. So God knows who to choose,
Yes.
and he knows who to put in place, like a chess game. He knows
Right.
where to put you. And caregivers are special people. They're wonderful people. And I want everybody to come away from my website and come away from my book, and I want them all to say, I am an inspired caregiver.
Yes.
I want them to feel better about their journey, and I want them to know that they're chosen.
And if they aren't getting the proper support from the family that's around them, or their friends, or their support around them, we need to surround ourselves with love. We need to surround ourselves with people that
The
are
right
gonna,
people.
the right people that are going to
Yes.
support us on the journey
Yes.
and really lift us up, not knock us down.
Yes. And also, when you raise yourself up to that level, you will attract people like that.
Right.
If you're in the role of like, oh, I'm a caregiver, I'm a martyr, I'm a victim.
You can never
you know,
think that.
You don't live into your fullest potential, and you're not whole and complete, and you want to bring that to the person that you're caring for.
Yes.
So you want to be that first,
Right.
and then you want to raise yourself up, and you will see how these people will come into your space.
Yes.
I just want to interrupt for a moment and mention your third book, The Peacemakers, Restoring Love in the World Through Stories of Compassion.
Yes, I just want to make a correction. It's not my book. I have been invited to be a participant
Oh, I'm
in
sorry.
a compilation book. It's 21 other female authors.
Wow.
We're all visionaries. We are all peacemakers. We are, from different walks of life.
That must be
and
why
we're
we
all,
connected.
all contributing to this book, and I have a chapter
Wow.
coming out in this book. That will be out on December 1st.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
It's- Yeah,
awesome.
a blessing.
So we're going to take our final break. When we come back, I can't believe how fast the time flows when you're talking about a topic that's so important. But on the ReneMarie Stroke of Luck, this is only the beginning of the conversation, because we will have Anne back, and she will definitely be part of our family. And she's actually going to become, I don't need to take a break. Thank you, Vicki.
The voice.
Yay! Thank you, Madhouse. Thank you, Vicki. So thank you, Vicki. Thank you for Madhouse TV. They want to gift us with a little bit more time, because this is really an important topic that we're talking about. I'd like to always recap on things that we've spoken about on the show. But one of the things I want to go back to before we recap is what I was going to say was, you can always find support, if you're not getting it from your family. You could email Anne, or
Absolutely.
log on to her blog, comment in her blog.
I also have a Facebook page.
As well, or I'll let you tell all your connections in 2 minutes. But or one thing that I found a long time ago was to read. If I'm not being inspired by the people around me, I seek inspiration. That's really important, to not wait for inspiration if you're not getting it,
Right.
to go out and look for it, to seek
Yes.
for it. And there's been many times when I've gone to Barnes and Nobles with no intentions of buying any books, and got gravitated. That's how I found Lynn Grabhorn's, I found Karen Noe's, my friend Karen Noe's book. I think Lynn Grabhorn as well, but Karen Noe. I was really in a bad place. I was crying in my car, and my mother's car. My mother said, "Come on, we'll go to Barnes and Nobles," and we went to Barnes and Nobles, and I gravitated towards her book. I picked it up, and I started to read it, and I said, and my mother goes, "Well, what are you doing with that? What are you?" And I said, "I guess I'm going to buy it, because God won't let me put it down." So I turned it over on the way home. And Karen Noe, she's a medium. She's really a dear friend. Now, she's actually going to be on the show on December 10th. It said Ramsey, New Jersey. I said,
Right near
out
you.
of
Look at
Barnes
that.
and Nobles.
How funny is that?
How
Yeah.
could we find somebody?
God was nodding.
God was nodding.
There you
God
go.
was nodding. So I went home, and that's how we connected. So, if you're looking for inspirations, pick up this book, pick up her other 2 books, the book that she's involved with, and it really, really, really is important to be active for yourself.
Absolutely.
And your
because it's,
websites are?
my website is www.inspirecaregivers.com. You can find me on Facebook. Inspire Caregivers is my Facebook page.
Okay.
And my books will be all on Inspire Caregivers. Just click on the button that says shop, and you'll be able to pull up my
Wow.
books there. And I'm hoping going forward to to get a caregivers support group together. If there are any churches out there that want to contact me, I'd be more than happy to get in conversation with that. And November, I have to mention, is National Caregivers Month. So
Wow.
please sign up for my mailing list
Okay.
on inspirecaregivers.com, because I will be talking about events. They'll be talking about prizes and giveaways and special events. And I also have a featured caregiver portion on my blog. If
Okay.
anybody's interested in sharing their story, or a photo with their loved one, or a poem, or anything, contact me. And I also have on there pearls of wisdom. If they have an elder that would like to leave us youngins with some amazing pearls of wisdom, they can contact me, and we can put something together,
Now
and you can
also,
be featured on my blog as well.
and I'll also get the message out to various Rotary clubs
Thank you.
about your message and how important it is.
Thank you, Judy. I
It
appreciate
is
that.
important. You know, and the other thing, which my foundation is writing a list of things that it really wants to do, and I didn't even tell Judy this yet, because when I'm driving,
You always tell me important things
Uh-oh.
on there.
because you know why? Because as you know, we're so focused and visualizing what it is we want to create that, you know, sometimes Judy, I love Judy because Judy gets me. Like, you know, if she calls me and I'm in this intense visualization and trying to think and trying to process and trying to just make things work, nobody has any idea how much work we're doing.
Right.
No, because it takes a lot of intense work,
A lot of energy.
a lot of energy,
Yeah.
a lot of energy, you know. So you know, when I'm driving here and it's in the quiet and everybody's like, "Oh, you drive to Long Island every," and I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of like it.
You like it,
I like
yeah.
it because it's a quiet transformation time, and I get to
Get your inspiration.
and I get to think, and I get to process, and I get to think and work through things. So one of the things when I was on my way here, I was really recording myself of things that I want to
Yes.
remember to do, because you know, when I think about them, I don't want to forget them.
We have very
Anyway,
busy
one
minds.
of the things is to teach in schools, to bring education to the schools about strokes and aphasia.
Wonderful.
To go on a campaign, Feel the
Yeah.
Love, to the schools, because they need to know.
Love it.
They need to know. So maybe that's something that you should, you know, bringing on a maybe you should write a little book about children caregivers or
Yeah, that's actually a subject of conversation in one of the coalitions that I belong
Yeah.
to. I didn't know how many hundreds of thousands of young children are caregivers
yeah.
Yes.
to younger siblings and
Yeah.
you know, elders
And not
wow.
even I mean, my thing is like, because you don't want to go into it too heavy with them, because as young children they really shouldn't have the pressure on them. But sometimes that's the way life is, and so they need the support
Right.
in being educated. You know,
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
that would be an awesome. But we're gonna work together, because I think, you know, as we're moving forward, you know, I think we're gonna have you as our caregiver expert on our website. No, it's true, because no, it's true, because you know, we want to be connected. So if somebody should contact us for
Brilliant.
strokes and aphasia,
Yes.
because once again, that's our world.
Yes.
You know, I mean, if anybody needs a
We'll
caregiver, we'll
make a
definitely
referral
connect
to
you
you.
to you.
Yeah.
But you know, we'll just keep the connection and the support of
Yeah.
each other. It's
Wonderful.
really important,
Yes.
because our motto is together. We're lifting our voices and changing the face of strokes and aphasia locally and globally.
Wow.
It's together. You know,
Right.
it's not me against you. Or
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
doing better than you.
No, it's a
or-
collaborative effort.
It's
absolutely. And this
collaborative.
is why, you know, this is why everything happened the way it
Don't
happened.
you just feel the
And
love
We
now?
do feel,
Feel the love, yes,
Feel the
we're
love.
coming
I
up with
love
that.
feeling the love. Yes, and I want to tell caregivers too. It's okay to give love, but it's also okay to receive love.
Yes.
Get into receiving energy as
Yes.
well. It's
Yes.
And
vital.
take a little time off.
Yeah.
Because you have to
Yourself.
fill your soul back up.
Yes.
You have to fill your soul back up.
You know, people have this expression about the cup being half empty or half full, and I like to say it needs to be empty so God can fill it to overflowing. And that's how I come to my caregiving point of view, is that you need to be empty of all of that negativity and all of that sludge in your glass so that God can fill it up
Yes.
to overflowing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, but sometimes we have to empty it out, because we got all those things rattle around in our brain that
we have to
need
partner with God.
Yes.
And we have to do the work.
Yes, yes. So we have like 2 more minutes, and I just want to sing a little bit. But just if there's, I mean, this conversation has to go on. But what's something that you want to tell our audience? You want to wrap things up and really share with our audience?
I want to let caregivers know that they are not alone, that they don't have to be isolated, and I want them to come away from the experience as a blessing. I want them to know that they can stand up, they can stand tall and say, I am an empowered caregiver, and I am an inspired caregiver.
Wow.
And that's my message.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm going to clip that so that we could, you know, share it with the world.
Can I just say thank you to both of you,
Oh.
and thank you to God for orchestrating this.
Yay, thank you, God.
Amen, amen, and so be
Yes.
it.
I get flabbergasted. And you and I and Judy as well, we all believe, but we still get so astounded by the miracles that he creates every single day. I just walk around and I mean, when I'm home, I'm always talking to God. like I'm always arguing with God.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Not
always-
arguing.
Yeah, no, I argue with
Well,
God.
you know what? It's a relationship.
Yes. Yeah, we were talking about that one day. I'm like, would you stop? Yeah, just like don't just show me clearly. Just come down and
Put it on
just
paper.
come and tell me, okay? Like, so I'm just gonna sing. I'm gonna sing a little bit of both songs. We're gonna end with "I Believe in Music." I know we have 1 minute left. I believe, Janine, right? So. I really wanted to sing Yesterday Once More because that's another pinpoint moment in my life that I heard God telling me to remember that song. So it goes like this. When I was young, I listened to the radio, waiting for my favorite song. When they'd play, I'd sing along. It made me smile. Those were such happy times and not so long ago. How I wonder where they'd gone. But they're back again, just like a long-lost friend. All the songs I love so well. Every sha-la-la-la, every woe still shines. Every shing-a-ling-a-ling that they started to sing so fine. All my best memories come back clearly to me. Some can even make me cry, just like before. It's yesterday once more. Let's blow our kisses.
Oh.
God bless everybody. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to end it right there because it's a good song and a good thought for you to end the show with. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next week with Dr. Mike Evangelist. He is a wonderful chiropractor. See you next week. God bless.
Bye-bye.